All right, about to get into these messages. What are the messages for whomever may concern? What are the messages? What are the messages? Somebody is bored. Okay, Five of Wands in reverse. King of Swords in reverse, but it could be a King of Pentacles. It could be a Earth sign or somebody, or a air or water sign. I'm going to say air or fire sign with Earth in their birth chart. Then we have the Mystery card in reverse. So I feel like the boredom is coming from individuals that's constantly trying to come up against you. Okay, that's what I'm picking up for that. I feel so hungry. All of a sudden I do this and I feel so hungry. We do have the Five of Pentacles here in reverse. This is going to represent your opposition. Okay, whenever we deal with fives, there's some lessons going on here. And your opposition has two. They have Five of Wands and Five of Pentacles. So, you know, you're sitting back, content, sitting on your throne, unbothered. You know, it's like I said, you're bored. You're bored with the shit that you see. You know, people trying to compete with you, but you have Emperor energy. A king, it could be two kings. You know, two kings and a priestess. And they still don't stand a chance against you with whatever the fuck they're trying to compete with or compete for. Okay? So it's like this. It's like a lion is yawning. You know, like the lion sees like these scary ass. The lion see these scary ass humans. It's like the humans are trying to scare it. But the lion is just like, oh, really? Are you really? You know, they don't have any weapons. They don't have anything. So the lion is just like, are you serious? You're going to try to take me on. You're going to try to challenge me. Like, really? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how your attitude is. Okay. This could also represent individuals competing for you. Okay. And somebody may be trying to cheat with using a high priestess. But you're okay with being single. Okay. Like, you're disappointed. And you're not showing people your disappointment. You know, because it's kind of like you're doing this, you're still up to this, you're still trying. You know, at the same time, it could be like your exes trying to compete with you with their future or trying to get back with you. You may have two individuals that are competing with each other for you. You know, there's a whole storyline that has happened behind the scenes since you have left both of these individuals behind. So, I mean, these two didn't even know each other, but life happened and they ended up finding each other, running into each other, maybe working at the same job. They became friends. Somewhere in there, somewhere later, they found out they had something in common, and that was they used to date you. So there may have been a period or point in time to where, you know, they wanted to get together and kind of like dog you out or talk shit about you in some kind of way. But then something happened, something changed. It was a shift. Then they found themselves wanting you again. And then they were in competition with each other with trying to get you. Okay? So you're disappointed. And you're not showing this. You're showing people what you want them to see. You know, regardless of your feelings, you know that you are the voice of reason. And the only thing that you truly have control over is yourself. The Nine of Cups tells me that you are okay with being single until you find whatever it is in which that you want. If you have a question, the answer is yes. Okay, so I see you hermiting because I see you, and whatever this disappointment is, it has nothing to do with your past. You know, there's something else that's going on with you and taking place. You, with the Ten of Cups, you know that you are complete. You know that you are whole. These individuals know that you're content within your life and you're sitting pretty. Like, people know who you are. It don't matter what you show them. They know. I don't think individuals know that, you're disappointed. But you have I feel like it has nothing to do with them. You have certain things going on within your life, things that you need to tend to when it comes to you dealing with you. So I just see you retreating and going in to do some type of self-reflection. This could have something to do with some type of retreat. Okay? So that could mean literally some type of retreat, or you are retreating within yourself, which means that you are withdrawing. You're setting a lot of spiritual boundaries. You're setting a lot of emotional boundaries. And when you go in to retreat or self-reflect, there's going to be something more confident and stronger about your boundaries when it comes to people and, I think, relationships. You are very accepting of a lot of things. And, when it comes to love and relationships, it just seems like you know that you're happier just being by yourself. You're fulfilled. You don't need anybody. Maybe individuals want to make you feel like you need them. Your energy is so strong. So, if you're a woman, it's like you come off too strong to men. You know what I'm saying? To the point to where it's like you show that you're stronger than them. They don't like that. Most men like control, and they like mind control. And it seems like emotionally they have been trying to manipulate you too. I think people are embarrassed because they were trying to play games and you knew the whole time what they were doing. And I think that they went through great lengths to be able to do this. With this High Priestess and this Five of Pentacles, they went broke paying to get work done on you to try to put you in a position that they want you in, that they feel would make it easier for them. You are someone who believes in who you are. You know who you are. So these individuals, and that's what makes you stronger than them. They wanted to see it as some type of competition or something. Like, no. Maybe they wanted to see who you would pick or who you would choose. You didn't choose anybody. You chose yourself. I don't think that they were expecting that. They may have tried to make you think that you had to choose. But whatever they were doing, you already saw it. You could see it, and they don't understand how you see it. So you got somebody here, motherfucker was trying to be passive. Now they snapping. Now they're upset. Okay? So what you have that these two individuals don't, you have leadership and you have decision making. You have clarity in your decisions. So I don't know if these individuals was trying to scare you or something like that. That's what it's given. Like they were trying to put some type of fear in you or try to scare you or intimidate you in some kind of way. You are incredibly strong. And even when you are wounded, they still don't stand a chance. So, this is a big blow to the ego for these individuals, to be quite honest. And they can't take it. They can't take the way that it makes them feel. They can't take what it says about them. They just can't take it. Very upset. Whatever they was holding back on saying, it came out. So it's like they were trying to play in your face and do stuff behind your back. So it's kind of like, they were trying to make you a target. They were trying to set a trap. But obviously, it's kind of like they are the trap. It doesn't, if you would have chose either one of these individuals, it would have been a trap. You didn't choose any of them. You chose yourself. They weren't expecting that. So in a way, you know, it just seems like they were more so upset that they couldn't go through with their plans. Doesn't really seem like anybody really cared about you or really wanted you. You know, the competition became about something else. Trying to prove a point. You know, these are men who are trying to stimulate their egos. Okay, so now they've had to take big blows to the ego. And I have a feeling, you know, just like they are opposing to you, they're dealing with their own opposition. And with dealing with their own opposition, they're not doing very well. You see, you have something, you have the knowing, you have what it takes to be able to help these individuals with their opposition. But shit, their opposition may be your opposition too. Maybe they was teaming up with the opposition, with your opposition. They trying to keep everybody behind the scenes. They trying to keep everybody behind closed doors so you don't see that they are associated with them or associated with your opposition. And the thing is that you knew. And I think that's where the disappointment comes from. Because maybe, you know, these people went to lengths and you kind of set back because you wanted to see how far they would go. So this is not your first rodeo. This is not your first time with people trying to do things like this to you. You know, you were already this, you have already been through this before these individuals stepped on the scene. So to where they came to you thinking that they was doing something different and thinking that they was, you know, really gonna get what they thought they was gonna get out of this situation, they realized that the shit was over before it even started. And that's what's really embarrassing, because like I said, these people went broke. They went broke doing this, and then on top of that, they had numbers. They was bringing in numbers. Okay, so you know, you have completed some type of spiritual, some type of, you've come to some type of spiritual completion as a spiritual guide. So you are actually a spirit guide to these two individuals, because now the opposition is turning on them and they're going to need what you have in order to deal with the opposition. But I think that that's over. They had their opportunity. They had their chance. And you know, you may have seen many people go through this. I think that you went through this yourself. But you were one of the few to where you woke up and you made it out. You may have opted up against somebody else, but you know, they taught you how to deal with the opposition because you saw the opposition and you saw that that other person was innocent. So you must have made things right with that person, and that person taught you. So, you know, people don't know your history. They don't know your story. They don't know where you come from. Opposition never does. They don't think, they just do. You know, they feel and they do shit based off of how they feel. And it's, you know, they're always trying to fulfill some type of false sense of self-fulfillment, power, you know, within themselves, thinking that if they take you down, that that's what it's going to give them. And it never does. Okay, so we're going to end it there. Until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.